See, what I have found since I've gotten more and more involved in the whole, manosphere, different things online having to do with men's rights and the defense of masculinity and, patriarchal type things on social media, is I found that there's a whole bunch of men and groups of them that they organize themselves into little groups because that's what masculinity does. It creates a hierarchy, whether it's a society wide or even down to the microcosm of an HOA or something. That's what men do. So groups of men and individual men as well who are over here on this right side of the internet, the right side of social media, the more masculine side, the men's right side, the, defense of masculinity side, the patriarchal side, those types of things. And they're over here and they post a lot and they express a lot of opinions and that sort of stuff. But when you really look at what they say, a lot of times they're very feminine. They're complaining about women, but they're doing it in a feminine way with a feminine technique and from a feminine premise. From the foundation of their complaint, it will be the exact sort of thinking, the exact method and processes and orders and priorities of thinking as women do who are on the other side of the internet complaining about men. So there's many of these guys, and I have learned that when you confront them about their femininity, they get very upset with you. Pearl Davis's moderator banned me from her channels because I told guys in her chat that they sounded like a bunch of women complaining about men. They're whining about women. No actual objective complaints, no evidence, nothing like that. No suggestions for solutions or a way to move forward. Nope. Just sitting around whining because the girls was mean to them. I hurt their feelings, took their money. That kind of stuff, So I've told those guys over there, was basically telling them they sound like a bunch of women. So they kicked me off of Pearl's channel, which that stands to reason. I mean, Pearl Davis is a woman. So that stands to reason that her moderator, although he's male, would also be a woman, mentally, emotionally speaking. I found out later that his wife had divorced him, and the words that were used by the person who knows him fairly well was he was completely trounced in the divorce. So he's anything but an unbiased opinion there. So anyway, I saw this meme here was posted by one of these groups over here in the manosphere world called Hoe Busters. It's a page I follow on Facebook because I get some funny memes off of it and stuff. And this is I actually like this movie back then. I'm telling you, when it comes to movies, I'm the girl in the family and Deidre's the man in the family when it comes to movies and stuff. She loves her some sci-fi. She loves her some action movies. Unless it's actual historic action movies like Glory, where a man gets his head blown off by a cannonball, and then she gets all upset over that. And I actually love historical movies like that, But when it comes to movies, yeah, I'm more of the rom-com chick flick kind of a movie guy. I got enough stress and strain and anxiety in my life just being a man in the world. When I sit down to watch a movie, I don't want to watch all that mess. And that sci-fi stuff, she loves that sci-fi stuff. I ain't into it, man. If you're of a certain generation like mine and older, you'll remember the old black and white television show, what was it? Not Lost in Space. The Land Before Time, I think it was. The Land Before Time, and they had like the bad guys with a slee stack. Remember, it was just some folks in look like a lizard costume with big old eyeballs, and they come around with their little pincher fingers chasing them around, and they be like making this weird hissing noise, chasing them around the slee stack. So when Deidre gets to watching her sci-fi movies and stuff like that, I'll tell her, oh, you're watching a slee stack shit again. That's what I'll tell her, teasing on her. That's what I call her sci-fi stuff. I just don't get it. Science fiction, Star Wars, Star Trek, like our fantasy movies, like Lord of the Rings or even the Narnia movies, stuff like that. I keep that mess. Anyway, so I actually liked this movie back in the day. My favorite part in Pretty Woman is her joy when he agrees to pay $3,000 for 6 days, effectively lowering her rate from $100 an hour to $21 an hour. This is a meme put up by Hobusters. Yeah. Which means that they're thinking like a woman. They're thinking in the short term. They're thinking in the immediate gratification. See, she saw the apple, that it was good to eat and beautiful, and so she ate of it and gave of her husband, and he too ate of it. This is a very profound difference between the masculine thinking and the feminine thinking, okay? And I mean, some men think very femininely, Hobusters. Some women think more masculinely, okay? No doubt. So don't come at me about woman hating and misogyny and stuff. I'm talking about the way people think, all right? So Hobusters obviously understands this from a very immediate, feminine, short-term perspective. The man who has a mind, who's thinking about the inner workings and is looking at his progeny, his future, his legacy, that sort of thing, would understand that, that Julia Roberts is not going to be able to turn a trick, $100 an hour trick, for 24 hours a day. She got to sleep. She got to eat. She got to use the bathroom. Which I guess the using the bathroom part, depending on how crazy the trick was. I mean, but we won't go into that. I don't guess so. That's kind of nasty. But she understood that she wasn't going to be able to be at work, on the job, you want to call it, 24/7 for all 6 days. I mean, that poor baby, I don't think the most accomplished hoe in the world could do that. She's not a robot. See, so, but that's the feminine thinking of this meme right here. I guess that is, I haven't even checked the math. So, let's take a look at what the math, I'll pull up my little calculator. I can't do this in my head. I'm a public school graduate. So let's say $3,000 divided by 6 days divided by 24 hours. Yeah, it would be $20.83 an hour. So, $21 an hour. You see? So, but that would be having sex 24 hours a day. So that'd be 24 men in a day. I mean, that's no eating, no sleeping, no using the bathroom, nothing. So that'd be 24 men a day, 6 days, 144 men. Impossible. But, Hobusters here looks at it and says, well, she got taken advantage of. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents for 6 days, and I'm dang.